I would like to honor your time. So, for those of you that are here, I'm going to get class started. If anyone would like to make any last minute requests, I'll stay really focused on my screen for a moment. And if you're heading back to your mats, I'm going to ask you to begin your class today in a horse stance, which is a wide, soft squat. And I'll show that to you in just a moment. All right, my friends, meet you there. Welcome to your practice. As we make our way back to our mats, for those of you who are just joining me for the first time today, you'll notice my mat looks like a lowercase t. You only need one mat. I do this so that you can always see me. I'll try to turn different ways so you can see things if you're unfamiliar. When you get ready, we're in a really soft squat, just a tiny bend in our knees. Feet are out wider than our hips, and if you start to shift side to side, feet are out wider than your knees. So we are safe for our joints. Knees are just behind the tips of our toes. Just take a few rounds like this. Soften in your arms and your upper body. I love to take a little shimmy through the shoulders. And then when you know you're at a good stance, come back into the center. Place your hands somewhere on your thighs or on your legs, maybe even your knees, where you can push down into your legs and get really straight and strong in your arms. It causes a lot of tension up into your neck and into your earlobes. That's what I want for this first moment. We're gonna breathe into our spines and really lengthen. I feel a shortening in my neck and a crunch up in my shoulders, but it's like traction for my spine. So I'm pressing down through my thighs and up through the crown of my head as I breathe in. Feel a big sense of awakening. One more big breath in. Let's see where our breath is flowing into nostrils, throat maybe, chest, belly. It's okay, wherever it's landing, it's good. Just focus on your breath. Let your hands slide down softly, undoing that straightness. Move your wrists like a little fist and make a little circle here. Round the other way, just shaking out your wrists from that tension. Bring hands now softly on the inside of thighs or knees and drop your chest forward. Straighten left elbow, drop left shoulder. Do the same on the other side. Straighten right elbow, drop left shoulder. Stretching into our inner thighs and our side bodies. Focusing on our breath. We're going to try to establish a pattern of breath where the out breath, the exhalation, is twice as long as the inhalation. If you like to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, that can be really calming. And if you get really toasty and warm during your practice, we can make a little tunnel with our tongue curling up the edges if you're able to do that. Breathing in and out that tunnel is very cooling. Let's go for one more round of breath. Last big breath in. Last big breath out. Back into the center. Rise up, straightening your legs. Give your thighs some relief. Arms sweep up. We're in 5-pointed star. And then reach all the way to the ground like you're gathering up a big sack of potatoes. Give it a big hug. Reverse direction. Open into 5-pointed star. Squat down. Scoop up. And then reach and throw it up to the sky. Let's make a big breath in as we lower and an exhalation as we rise. 4 more like that. Round your back like an angry cat. Coming only to the point where it feels good and stretchy. So if you have a cranky low back, you could stay up a little higher with me. Let's wiggle all 10 toes. And our last one, we're going to stay at 5-pointed star, really lifting through the fingers, belly in, back ribs lifting, lengthen everything out. Exhale back into your horse stance. Great job. Coming to revisit our side lunges. Shift. Taking a check. Did we stay wide enough where our knees are behind our toes? And if we did, back of hands are going to press each way. Press to the right. Press to the left. Linking breath with movement. Our Vinyasa, our yoga practice today, is a dance between body and breath. There will never be a pace that you have to keep. We're just going to try to move beautifully. And always ask yourself, how can I move to feel really good? Keep sweeping and see if we can extend our body a little further. Slow down a bit. Come through the side ribs and extend your fingertips past the edge of your mat. This is a Tai Chi inspired warm-up. Sweeping arms up and overhead now. Backs of hands still pressing. Start to make little semicircles with your side bodies. As your legs get a little warm, if they get too tired, stay up high. If you can, sink down a little lower. Starting to get this hypnotic feel going on. If your eyes can follow your fingertips, we get into our yoga trance. I love it. Really sinking breath and body. Let's take 4 more big sweeps. And 1. Beautiful job. Sink back down in the middle. Shimmy out your shoulders. Toe heel your feet on in together, or take a little hop. Hop together is so nice and light. Coming into a standing posture, extended mountain pose. Arms rise overhead. Belly's gonna come in here. Forward folding, protecting our back. Bend your knees as much as you'd like. And just hang your body here in forward fold. We can put something soft under our belly in every fold, giving ourselves a little hug from the outside in. And our goal is to move our fingertips back towards our heels, on or off of our props, hanging the crown of our head all the way towards the floor. Let's try that 3 more times with a little bit of breath moving our bodies. Inhale to rise, extended mountain pose. Exhale to fall anyway, so I can bend my knees and crumple to the earth if that feels good. When you're ready to rise, inhale, rolling to the sky. I can flat back down, arms wide, flat back, swan dive down, and reverse swan dive to rise. Hands can come to hips, lengthening out my side bodies. That's a tough rise in the beginning of class. 1 more, however it feels good to you. Staying at the bottom. Right leg steps back long. In your lunge, we're kneeling the first one. Knee, shin, and top of right foot really low. Climb up your left thigh. Sweep arms overhead and bring your knees to 90 degrees. Let's try to tuck our tailbone, pressing our right hip flexor forward. Hold on to right wrist. Lift and lengthen again. Then tip over to the left side. If you're really wobbly, heel, toe. Step out with your front foot a little wider. Now we're gonna search for daylight up past our right elbows. Sweep your heart space skywards and breathe into that newfound energy. Up through the center, frame out front foot, walk it back in if you went really wide. Come back to meet your knees, tabletop posture, cat-cows. Exhale, arching up into an angry cat posture. Inhale, drop navel, top of head and tailbone rise. Up to angry cat, big exhalation. Inhalation, cow pose. Let's think about how we can move that would feel better. So if I want to roll a little bit through my sides, in and out of angry cat and cow, that's really nice. Or I may want to roll a bit forward and a bit back. There could never be a wrong way that you move as long as your body's saying, hey, I feel like I want to do that. Listening to your body at all times. 1 more big round of breath in here. Big round of breath out. Left leg steps forward. Can you get it in between your thumbs? Let's try. Step in. If it gets a little stuck, that's okay. Grab a hold of your shin and help it forward. We're kneeling again. All right, back leg steps in. Forward fold, climb to the top with a flat back or a rolling spine. I love feeling the little vertebrae climb to the top one by one, so I like to roll up. Inhale, extend, and then dive forward this time. Close palms, reach forward like you're diving into a clear blue ocean. float to fold. Left leg lunges back. A kneeling lunge, knee, shin, top of foot, relax. Lengthening my sides as I climb up the right leg. 90-degree knees, pressing left hip flexor forward. Arms rise. Hold on to left wrist. Lengthen as much as possible and tip to the right. Now, all throughout class, when I have arm options, they're always an invitation, but you're welcome to move arms anywhere that you feel better. For a little wiggly, right foot can heel toe out to the side. Top arm floats down. Push on back. Tabletop again. This time in our tabletop, let's tuck all 10 toes under and begin to move back a bit to wake up the bottoms of our feet. Then forward any which way in all directions if possible, re-waking up our wrists. I'm going to ask you to press your fingertips down into the mat as strong as you can. They may turn a little white, that's good. Like you're going to palm a basketball, because I want you to really get your wrists turned on. Moving around, if your toes are uncomfy, it's okay to untuck them and swish your hips around instead. I want the most movement in this tabletop possible. One more big breath in. No matter where we are, hovering our knees. If we just can do one, that's great. Then switch to the other side. If you're able to do both, go ahead and lift. I'm on the top of my feet right now. If that's too hard, soften it up with a blanket or re-tuck your toes and hover your tabletop here. Saying good afternoon to our core, waking up our abdominals. Still palming that basketball. Really grip your fingertips in. 3 more seconds. Long in your sides. Top of head and neck are long and soft. Good job, guys. Let your knees fall. Step your right leg forward. One more kneeling lunge, pulling long. Back leg steps into forward fold we go. Rise to sky, extended mountain pose. Let's add on. Exhale, release back to forward fold. From here, halfway lift. Fingertips are really light on our mat or our props. They may land on shins, and our top of head is pulling away from our tailbones. Forward fold again. Right leg lunges back. It doesn't have to be kneeling this time. Climb back up to left thigh. Reach arms to sky. And now redo that hip push forward. Tailbone down. Hip pushes towards left big toe. Really feel an opening here. Sink into the power of your legs. If you're really tired, it's okay to kneel. Feel really uplifted and powerful in whatever option you've chosen. Back heel falls. Blade edge pushes down. We're in warrior 2. And soften out your shoulders. Now, if you chose kneeling in your lunge, you can swivel right heel behind your knee and kneel your warrior 2. So I'll meet you wherever you are today. When you're ready, fingertips towards your temples, lengthen back up. Really long in left side, we're gonna crunch left elbow to the top of our mat and then rise back up. Breathe in to extend, just making space in our side body, out to lengthen. Breathe in. Nice. Breathe out. One more like that. Getting really strong, but we're holding in the crunch. Feel your inner thigh, inner groin. Breathe into it. Come back to warrior 2. Arms spread. Windmill arms all the way down. Toes turn towards the front of your mat. Push back. Downward facing dog. So if your leg gets stuck, you can find tabletop, child's pose, and then downward facing dog. Like we're making a triangle here. Head presses through elbows, chest to thighs, thighs to wall behind you, and then you're gonna bend your knees as much as you need to really lengthen out your spine. Take some big breaths. It feels different to breathe upside down, doesn't it? Stay calm, cool as a cucumber, breathing in long and slow. Let's keep going. Roll forward to plank position. If we're floating in space and you feel good, stay. Modified plank, or back to tabletop, whatever our wrists and shoulders need today. Chest is guiding down towards our elbows, chaturanga. We can do this on our knees. Our body finds the earth, and we lift from the backs of our necks. Tops of feet come flat. Baby cobra. Squeeze through your back body. Hover your palms and kiss your elbows back towards your spine. One more breath, pulling top of head long away from tails. Press your toenails further towards the bottom of your mat. Exhale, release, downward facing dog. But I love to find a child's pose before I find my downward facing dog. Take whatever you need, yogis. Now let's sway a little bit through this down dog. You know how to find it now. Make a triangle shape. But then give yourself all the play you need in your hips, your calves, maybe pump your heels down and up. Your shoulders may like a little shift of weight from one hand to the next. When you're done with all that movement, your right toes elevate as high as you'd like. You can even open your hip if you want. Whatever feels good. This is three-legged downward facing dog. Look forward to thumbs. Crunch your knee under your body and land in between your thumbs. Back to lunge. Low or high you choose. Arms elevate. Inhale, rise. Sink down into the power of your hip flexor. Press your right hip flexor forward. One more big breath in. Our bellies are tight. Our back ribs are lifting as much as the front ribs. Frame out the front foot. Step to forward fold. It could be more of a drag if your leg is like really heavy. However, you can get forward. Deeply fold and release your back body. Possibly using your body like a ladder. Use your hands to climb up your body. Plus, it feels nice. It's compassionate to touch your body. Give yourself some love wherever you're touching. Arms rise. Big breath in at the top. Stretch as long as you can. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Inhale to lengthen your top of head away from your tail. Your shoulders away from your sits bones. Release to forward fold. Left leg lunges back. Same as before, our arms are rising all the way to the sky. Now in this high lunge, let's try the tip. Wiggle your right foot out wide so you feel safe. Hold your left wrist, lengthen. Tip over to the right side. This is dangerous, isn't it? It's good to bring a little bit of chaos into our practice because the normal stuff gets kind of boring. When we step out of our comfort zone, this is where change happens. Big breath in to tip further. Pressing left hip flexor towards your right big toe. Exhale back to center. Arms fall slowly, always breathing and controlling. Press back to down dog or follow me. Tabletop, child's pose, downward facing dog. Really give yourself the gift of slowing down, the luxuriously long breaths, the lingers in the postures that are really resonating with you today. Shift forward to plank. Let's think of this as a playful plank, a soft, fun plank. Nothing forced, nothing serious. Use knees if you'd like. Chaturanga, chest comes down to elbows. Body finds the floor. We float our back body to the sky. Elbows start to hover. Back of neck rises. Toes, knees, and thighs rise as if our whole body's being magnetized to the ceiling. Now we just breathe, lengthen, press your toes out. Send your arms wider on this one. Reach out like airplane wings. Continue rising and breathing. Exhale, release. Find your downward facing dog. Follow me if you'd like to take some pit stops. I love a child's pose before my dog. Any wiggles that you feel like you want to explore might help you stretch a little deeper in some area. Left toes elevate to any degree. Find your three-legged dog. Look at your thumbs and try to crunch your knee on through to land between. If you got stuck, that's really normal. Just help your foot through. You can always kneel, find your lunge, then re-rise. We are back into high lunge. Arms are elevated. And if they're not elevated, they could simply be here. Take a breath. Find your right hip flexor, scissor inner thighs together. Left hand hold right wrist, lift and tip. That's the wobbles, right? The wobbles push us out of our comfort zone, and this is where we want to be. Wiggle through your left toes. We're proving to ourselves that with breath, anything is accomplishable. Anything is doable. We can tackle it all. One more time, big breath in. On the exhalation, rise. Inhale, lengthen everything back up. Frame your front foot and step together for another forward fold. Let's wiggle our way or flat back our way up to the sky. And adding on a little balance components. Inhale, arms rise. Take your right knee, lift either just your right heel, your right toes, or the right knee all the way up if possible. Arms are always optional. Flex right foot and cross over your thigh for figure four, or cross over your ankle with toes on floor for a bit more of an accessible option. Sink into your buns. So we're gonna sit in a figure four chair. And then I'm making it really funky today. Eagle arms in this chair. Left arm comes under the right. And in eagle, we can hug our shoulders because it feels so loving, and that's why we're here for self-care. So this is great. Or you can wrap the backs of your hands together, single wrap, palms together, double wrap, and fingers start to rise as buns sink down. Okay, yogis, we are in a serious balance challenge. If it's too challenging and no fun, take the arms away. Just focus on your lower half and get a great hip stretch. If you're ready, we're gonna add in a little bit of a crunch. Belly crunches in, and then we rise, inhale. Belly crunches in, and then we rise, inhale. Two more like that. Exhale to really get rid of all of your air. Inhale and rise. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, rise. Beautiful balancing work. And if you had the wiggles, just giggle and set it aside. It's okay. What's done is done. Inhale, arms rise. Untangle your legs. Relift something on the right side body. And then let it all go. Do whatever you need to free up any tension there. Feels good, right? Arms rise. Same thing on the left. Left heel lifts. Toes or the whole knee. If your knee is lifted, we're going to come from the inner thigh. If I lift from the outer thigh, I have funny hips. So I want to squeeze my hips square and get a really good core workout. Flex left foot, cross over thigh, sinking down, or toes to floor, cross ankles and sink. Following me for eagle arms if you loved that. Right arm under, I can hug myself. That is so nice. And if I'm hugging, I'm still going to try to crunch. Or I intertwine my arms, single, double wrap. Choose what really feels good, not what you think you should do or something you saw on Instagram. Ask your body, like, what do you want, shoulders? What do you need, upper back? And do just that. We could simply be here or here. When you're ready, we're crunching down, exhaling as we crunch, inhaling as we rise. Always going for length. So even as we're crunching, breathing length into both side bodies, through the tops of our heads, sending length out through our tailbones. Inhale, rise. Beautiful work. Arms rise. We have to get that tricky knee lift back in here. Ready to go one more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Woo-wee. Forward fold. Take a break, yogis. Remembering that our folds can be as bent knee as we like. We really want to feel good in the backs of our legs. Give yourself a little hug. Wrap your hands around either your legs or you could hold your mat on the sides. Clasp your hands, your wrists, or your forearms behind your low back. Hang a little bit heavier. And if your knuckles are clasped, see if you can extend them behind you or up towards the sky. rinsing out our shoulders, getting rid of any boulders of tension. One more big breath in. Pinch your shoulder blades together towards your spine. Give your neck a ton of room. You just pulled your shoulders way far away from your earlobes, hopefully. And then really slowly connect hands to low back so we don't clunk into the earth. And let them slide down your side legs, down your knees, down your shins, and to the floor. Yogis, roll up to standing. Stretch out one more time. Take this really slow, carrying concern and breath into back body. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold. Super job. All right, I'm stepping into wide-legged forward fold. It doesn't matter which way you turn. We are stepping our legs about 2.5 body lengths wide like we started, but this time we're folding to the earth. And if you see this one from the side, you're going to notice that if I push my hips back and lift my balls of feet, I'm really heavy in my heels. Opposite is true. If I shift my hips forward, I can lift my heels and I'm heavy in the balls of my feet. I love for you to play around with weight distribution so you can see what you really need today, where you're feeling a big stretch. This is a great time for blocks or pillows. If the floor in your place is just built too low, build it up so your posture is more accessible. Our toes are turned in a tad and our knees are a little soft, so everything feels long and luxuriously stretching. Take one more breath in this wide-legged forward fold and begin to turn your fingertips back towards your heels and walk fingers back towards the heel or the back of your mat. Maybe folding a little deeper. If you had a prop you were using, you can slide your whole prop back a little bit. Real long in our sides, lifted in our chest, but then dropping our noses towards the floor. Playing with that weight distribution, seeing where we feel challenged, yet really comfortably stretching. Walk fingertips back where they came from, halfway lift and turn your right toes out. Left toes in a tad. Walk over to your right big toe and sweep your arms up into warrior two. Remember this one? Sink on into warrior two. Soft in my left knee, but energized through the inseam, open in my right knee. Fingertips come to temples, and we're gonna crunch our ribs past the edge of our mat. So we're coming down and up. I love an in-breath here. In-breath to lower, lengthen, really energize right side, and then when it's hard, we exhale. Now you're gonna feel your groin and your right inner thigh. If it's too intense, back off. Straighten your leg a little bit or make your crunch a bit smaller. Next one, we're holding down, stay, soften your jaw. Try to peek and look for daylight up past your left shoulder. Eye gaze may swivel up if you feel really good. One more big breath in, I know you can do this. Turn around towards your right toes, windmill your arms, back toes turn in. We're in a low lunge. Find down dog, either by pressing straight back, tabletopping, or child's posing before. And let's vinyasa flow. Float forward into plank. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Use knees anytime it feels good. Back bending. Do you want to lift a little? Lift with airplane arms and toes rising. Or join me for our third option. Hands down. Straighten elbows and lift knees and thighs. You're in up dog. Unclench your butt cheeks and give yourself the ability to kind of roll around or maybe just look over a shoulder and back. Down dog when you're ready. Push on up, push on back. Let's go right back where we started, yogis. Wide-legged forward fold. Stepping your right foot in between your thumbs again. Help it if you're stuck. Rotate toes back forward, and then considering safety for knees, about maybe 10 degrees in with your toes, soften your knees. And this time a halfway lift, really staying long, belly in, Breathing length into our sides and the back body. Walk both hands over to the right. Stay high here, or see if you can hold right hand around right calf. Left fingers reach out to the side and see if you can fold a tiny bit over your right leg. The more I can reach my left hand out, the more I'll get that great opening stretch from my left armpit to shoulder. Slowly lifting and back through center. I like you to lift a little bit to normalize your blood pressure, so when we rise, we don't get too dizzy from being down too long. Same thing on the left, walking everything over to the left side. Left hand may be able to hold your calf or somewhere on your leg, and right arm stretches out. Now stay in this half lift or fold over your left leg, reaching right fingertips out further. When the stretches get really big, you may find that your breath becomes compromised. As long as you can still continue flowing it, it's okay if it's shorter. If we get really hitched or begin holding our breath, let's back off, ask our body where we should be, and then revisit something soft yet strong. Back into the center. Take a second here to turn your heels in, toes in, heels in, toes in to squat. We're gonna come right back there in a minute, but I wanna give you a little break. Now this is a power squat, also known as a queen chair if we use our arms up or forward, but I love yogi squats. So join me if you want. Your buns would sink. You can put soft or hard things under here to actually sit on them. And then take a moment, even if you're in your higher chair, you can press your inner thighs out a little bit wider. If you're in yogi squat, elbows compress, and your hands are your best friend here. We can tent fingertips to get a little more, or we can interlace our knuckles to get a little more. Wherever you are in your squat, pull your pelvic floor up and in. Just like you're stopping the flow of urine, really squeeze up, in, hammock all your internal organs. Now continue breathing. Back to forward fold. When you get there, heels come out, toes turn out. We do our little walk out wider again. And reconnect to your last wide-legged position. Toes turn in a tad. Make sure your knees are happy. Left hand comes under the chin. Right hand reaches towards the side wall or your hip. And slowly fingertips are rising skywards. Eye gaze may or may not follow. Your goal here would be to stack right shoulder on top of left. Soften your knees and attempt to swivel your eye gaze up. But I care most about your side bodies being really long before you twist. Really connect with your breath here. It's tough to breathe through a twist. We recognize that. We soften where we can, our fingertips, our toes, our facial muscles. And then we super slowly swivel back down, really rewinding with care and compassion. Take a second, swish your hips side to side. I love to do this, but it's nice if you turn your toes out a little bit to give you some more space to swish, and then start to walk your hands to one side. If you're too low and it's not comfy, you can do thigh to thigh. Give yourself just a little fun, freeing posture in between. And if you're really feeling great, walk wide. Come back in. Walk out wide again. Let's go one or two more each way. However fast you're going is great. Back into center. Lift your hips. Turn your toes back into where you're comfy. Take a fold. And then re-lift halfway. Right fingers under nose. If your wrists are getting tired, yogis, you can use a fist or put some cushioning under the heel of your hand. Left fingers find the side wall or your hip. Begin reaching expansively up to the sky. Eye gaze may follow. Remember, you get the wobbles as soon as you take your eyes off the ground, so slowly moving upwards. Thinking about that weight distribution we did a moment ago, a little shift subtly makes a big difference. Forward, back, side to side. Find somewhere that you're like, oh yeah, that feels good. Let's take one more big, beautiful breath in, especially long through your right side body. Basket weaving your breath through your ribs, down through your hips and your pelvic bowl, releasing tension. Top arm floats down. Rise up however it feels good. I like to toe heel in a little bit. Bend into that angry cat shape, and then reach up to the sky like a 5-pointed star, stepping or hopping your feet together. Whew, here we are again. Chair pose, let's sink on down. All right, in our chairs, I want you to feel stable. So if you're too close with your feet and you feel wobbly, step lighter. Buns back, I can spot my big toes. My arms are wherever I'm feeling a challenge. Staying in chair, lifting left knee. Play with that weight distribution, wiggles are good. Extend forward, rebend. Lift a little higher, extend out to the side, rebend. Now if I'm just lifting my heel, I can tap forward and tap the side. Let's try that twice more. Lift, extend, strong in your quad. Think squeeze and lengthen. Rebend, side body, hip and glute, really squeezing to extend. Stay low. Last round, inhale, exhale, breathe in. One-legged chair is very difficult. These squats that will really build up the strength in your back body, your glutes. Relift, sit in your chair. Arms out like airplane wings. Stay low with your hip points and your knees facing forward. Swivel eye gaze and left arm behind you. All the way back to center. It may not go behind you, as far as you can twist. Eye gaze right, right fingers right. Think about like a T, just spinning around the corner here. Stay low in your chair, building up all that heat in your thighs, I know. Inhale forward, belly in as you twist, exhale back. Inhale forward, great job. Now you know where we're going. If arms can rise, please do. If they're tired, you have any option that's really making you happy. Right knee. Okay, so I can just stay low, right, and move here. But otherwise, I'm lifting if possible. Extend forward, squeeze, flexing and pointing. That's all up to you, whatever feels good. Knee lift. Out to the side we go. Lift a little higher if you can. Make room for your foot to push out. Yes, rise. Extend. Think about your muscles now. Quads, outer thighs, glutes. Whoop. Try not to tip too far over, and if we tumble over, that's okay. Come back when you can. Last round, squeeze. Find your breath. Good job. One more big breath in. Knee lift. Nice. Sitting in our chairs. Last chair of the day, I promise. Stay right here, yogis. I know you can. Watch my heels. They're going to rise. Arms are sweeping behind me. Thinking of yourself like a downhill skier. So you're going to head down this mountain as fast as you can. Bring your chest parallel to the floor. Pull your heels up a little higher. Hug your calves into your shins. Eye gaze is a little forward so you're really energized and lifted in your upper body. Fingertips behind you like your turbo boosters. Shoot fireworks. Out your fingertips. One more breath in this downhill skier. Are your legs shaking? Mine are. Heels down, arms rise, forward fold. All right, now if your legs are really tired, a big knee bend and try to give your body that hug again. It deserves it. Great, great, great job, yogis. Right leg steps back to lunge. Left leg steps back, downward facing dog. Take a moment to shimmy out any tension. Feel a little bit better in your calves and your hamstrings after you built up all that strength. Right toes rise. Crunch your knee in towards your nose. And let's land in pigeon. Your right knee is coming to your right wrist. Right ankle coming to left wrist. And we land our pelvis on the ground. I'm going to show you from the side for options. My heel can be as close to my groin as I want it, or as far as parallel to the front of my mat. My back leg can extend, or I sit on my right cheek and I bring my back leg into a 90-degree bend. Let's uplift ourselves whenever we found our favorite pigeon pose. So I'm getting a lot of work in my back as I lift up here. I want to be light on my fingertips. And if you're feeling like you can't get off your right butt cheek, I'm going to ask you to move your right knee out a little wider, and then you'll probably be able to roll more towards your pelvis. We're going to guide our left hip bone towards our right body. Lift up again. And when you're ready, reach forward. If you can come down, we're going to lay our bodies over our legs for sleeping pigeon. Another great opportunity for a really comfy, soft something under your belly. Or we can use our arms like pillows and rest down into them. Feel free to extend all the way out. And when you've gotten really cozy in your pigeon for today, start to breathe deeply down into the hips that we're stretching. We're going to nourish our hips with our breath. If you've stayed upright and this is your choice today, I'm going to breathe into your low back as much as your hips because you're really working up here on this back bend. If you're fully extended forward, option to come back to forearms. Leave your left forearm down and reach your right arm up for a twisted pigeon. Doesn't have to come up, right? I can use my hand on the floor, my hip, the side wall, however I feel that I can open my body skywards. And if you do it and you're like, oh no, I don't like that, come back to sleeping pigeon. 2 more breaths wherever you've landed, hopefully very happily today. Pigeons are a moment in our practice where a lot of emotions, feelings, turbulent thoughts can arise because we tend to lock things down into our hips. It's a very emotional storage place. Top arm comes down. Use your fingertips to relift your chest. Land on your right cheek and slide your back leg forward, either to a seated position of any kind, or left leg crosses over the top of your right knee for a fire log position, or what's called modified half lotus if it looks like an M. Shins can be stacked. If you're really lifted somewhere, put some pillows or blankets underneath you so you're really cozy. Wherever you've landed, take your fingertips behind you and open your chest. Really spread open wide in collarbones. Play with the placement of your fingers so you can feel opening. Breathing not just in your noses, your throats, and your bellies, but everywhere left to right, north, south, east, west. Find a diamond, tip of nose to bottom of navel, out as far as each side rib, and then inflate your diamond as big as possible. We're sitting with whatever arises when we open and release our hips. If our body lets us in, we sometimes get emotional. But we know that our practice is here for us to accept with compassion and kindness anything that arises, create space for it, and maybe it's ready to leave. So we can use our out breath like an escort if it's time for those heaviness, those heavy thoughts and emotions to leave like a cloud in the sky. When you're done with that lift, come forward and fold. Stay anywhere that feels too good to leave. Once again, forearms like pillows, or we can surrender completely. If you can drop your chin to your chest and your head down, it's an automatic cue to our body to begin surrendering and letting go. The more relaxed we can get up top, the more our hips will be able to release. Always inviting in some swing and sway and exploring. seeing where it feels really great. Rise when you're ready. Bring the soles of your feet together for bound angle. And think about your feet like a book, like a really good book. You can't wait to crack it open. So the inner balls of your feet open and the outer edges push together. Stay here, just this is enough, maybe with some support. Or reach back again and see if you can lift your hips. Now get really open in your chest, open in your throat, and see if you can boost your hips up to the sky, maybe just a little. You might want to kind of rock like a hammock, or you can lift a bunch. Really press the blade edge together, and if you squeeze your buns a little bit, it'll help you open the opposite side of your body. You're welcome to let your head fall back. When it's enough. Have a seat. And then how do you want to switch sides? Do you want to be like a break dancer? We can just swing our bodies around so our left leg is in the front, or you may need a bigger stretch. So you could come up to your downward facing dog. We need to get our left legs forward, yogis. So if you did choose a dog and you like to stretch that way, lift your left leg, crunch your knee into your nose, find your left wrist, and then your ankle comes to your right wrist. And then walk out, whatever floats your boat. Shin, somewhere that feels comfy, but that you can rotate your hips. Back leg out or bent, and I can just stay on my left cheek the whole time here. Rounding the corner and finding lift. We always like to rise before we extend and fall, right? Finding the longest spines. So if you're really stuck, see my hips, I'm like, I can't get my hip around. It's because my knee is too close to my belly. So I'm gonna move my knee off to the left a little bit. Hey, check it out. Then I got all this roll. I can roll my hips around. So I get more into my pelvis here. Try to find a little bit of freedom. One more breath up top. When you're ready, let's fall. You can reach forward. I love thinking of like a prowling cat when we do this. Reach a little bit. Reach a little bit more. Land when you feel really good in your sleeping pigeon. Another great option if you're able to come low is to fold your hands and rest your forehead on the back. We may not feel supported enough and might want to stick something soft under our left cheek, under our right knees, wherever we are. Soften up and settle in. Movement is always something that we can do. So if you want a little rock and roll, you might feel a stretch in a new place when you do that, something that you really need. And if you don't love it, re-still yourself and surrender. If you're aching for some more, you know you can give just a little more. Your right forearm comes to the ground, really supported here. Left fingertips get light. They reach for the sidewall, they find your hip, or they come skyward. You may need to make some adjustments to get into this. Always listening to our joints. So if your bottom shoulder is cranky here, move around so you don't feel any tension in that shoulder. We feel light instead through our right side. Now thinking length, side bodies staying long as we open. Envisioning a little smile, whether it's a pet smile, a baby smile, a loved one, or a friend smile. Maybe it's even a smile that you're actually finding on the corners of your mouth, because that just lightens up our whole practice. Notice the sensations that come along with seeing or feeling a smile, some warmth, some lightness, some happiness. Top arm comes down. Unroll slowly. Land on your left cheek, and this leg may be a little stuck, so we're going to help our right leg around the corner to an easy seat, this is called. If I stack my shins, I'm in fire log, or I might want to find that M shape if I bring my heel a little closer up to my hip point. And wherever you are, just kind of shimmy around so that your sits bones are free and they feel anchored into your mat. So you could just gently pull your flesh out from under your sits bones or kind of wiggle, and it usually happens. Fingers walk behind. As you lift this time, push your knees down and forward. If your knees are up here, Pad them up so they feel heavy and supported. Back to our uplifted collarbones. Inflate a helium balloon in your belly. Really breathe deeply. And then bring hands out to either side. Just a reach up with the right arm. And then a quick release. Reach up with the left arm. Let's stretch out our sides this time. Breathe in. Breathe out. If it feels good, reach a little further. Sits bones still grounded. Really pressing deeply in so we can lengthen away. And if you're ready for even more, reach over and then spin around to the front. Now, if none of this is serving you today, go with the first option we did on the other side and just fold. We have about 3 more beautiful breaths in here. Last big breath in, yogis. Lean back, let your legs do their own thing. You may feel like you really need to stretch for a second or that your knees are getting cranky. If they are, that's good. That means you've opened some new things. We're feeling something in our joints. Sometimes a massage helps. We're literally just like jiggle your knees around. And when they feel ready, back into bound angle. Big and wide like a diamond, close to groin, whatever makes you happy. Peel open that really good new summer beach read. And then we're twisting this time. So lift up. Right arm sweeps all the way around. See if you can plant it on the floor or a prop behind you to lift. And then left arm is following. Maybe it's just floating. Maybe it's grabbing your right knee to help you twist a bit deeper. If you swivel your eyes back towards the right, it's going to feel really helpful to help you twist a bit deeper. Always lengthening as we breathe in. Sighing into our twist. Heading on over to the other side. Unswivel really slowly. Re-swivel. Right arm is going to reach around. Once our left arm has us really boosted and starting our twist, right arm reaches to see how it can help us deepen. And for my yogis that have to leave at 1:55, this posture is going to be your last stretch of the day. Let's lift up through the crowns of our heads. Exhale, twisting behind us. One more big breath in. Unswiveling all together. Hands come back to help our knees together. So if you have to go, I would just recommend rolling around slowly, coming to rise. And I hope you feel wonderful for the rest of your day until I see you next week. If you can stay, we're finding staff pose. Something soft under your knees may be really necessary to give you comfort so you don't hyperextend. Pull your toes back towards your hips and then lift your cheek and set it back. Do the same thing on the other side. Lift and set it back. Do you feel the length? Right arm rises. And it's going to cross over like karate chop past your right toenail. Then reach out some more, and a little twisted staff pose. One more time, a belly hug could be so great. So something soft under here or even your forearms. It's like a massage for your internal organs, and it helps press up against the front of your lower spine. So it gives a lot of support to your low back. Let's check on our toes. Sometimes your big toes pull in, and then we don't get a full stretch across the back of our legs. So I'm going to ask you to try to reflex your feet strong and pull all 5 toes right back towards your hips. Let's reverse the way we came. Left arm rises, right arm rises, left arm falls, right arm does the karate chop outside our left pinky toe. Reach, reach. It's okay if we don't get very far. And then the left arm follows. Okay, now again, your toes may have done something funky, so let's pull them all back, square up, soften your knees, and then breathe into this twist. If your legs get a little shaky, that's normal. This is a big stretch. reverse the way you came. One arm rises, other arm rises. Fold your body directly down now, whether we're hugging ourselves or one more crisscross could be a cross of ankles, holding on to blade edges of feet or anywhere, your calves, the underside of your knees, and this may help you fold a bit deeper. If you're able to grab your feet, you can use them or the sides of your mat to really deeply pull you forward, and then a big sigh of relief as you surrender. Last few breaths, re-engaging our toes, brighten up your feet, energize your toes, really send energy out the tips of toes, the bottoms of your feet, feeling the sparks coming into the back of your legs, all of the new energy arising. Last breath in together here. On your exhalation, use your hands. Those were really big stretches. Use your hands to walk back up. And then take a second to pull your knees in towards your chest. See if you need to massage your legs. Pull your leg in. Massage a little if your hamstrings are like, woo, that was big. And then find a seated position to finish, whether you like easy seat. I love to kneel, and I'll show you my favorite way to kneel. You can put something under your buns or your knees if they need some softness, but I tuck all my toes under. This is called toes pose, and it's really intense, right? But if you need some more, you can scoot your knees forward. Oh, then we feel it. And as we're sitting there, we're gonna try to find softness in our upper body, but any seated position is great. I'd like to finish off with a tiny little mantra set for you to manifest. I'm just asking you to immerse yourself in your breath, listen to me if you wish, and see if our breath is reaching new depths. It's getting all over our body, scanning through and filling up with new life force, new energy. A few mantras that may resonate with you today. I am open to the possibilities. I am worthy of the opportunity. I am connected to the mystery. I am powerful beyond measure. Those mantras are what I hope you can take off of your yoga mat today. In order to be able to really live our yoga practice, we just have to find awareness and cultivate our breath practice. Notice where we're breathing, when we're breathing. Notice surroundings, little details. Just taking a second to slow down is how we take yoga off the mat. So one more time, I hope you find one that really resonates with you and you can breathe it into your soul. I am open to the possibilities. I am worthy of the opportunities. I am connected to the mystery. I am powerful beyond measure. Well done today with your yoga practice. Clasp your hands at heart center and find your heartbeat. Lift your chest up into your heart. Bow your chin to your chest in honor of your practice, in gratitude of your practice. Yogis, the light in me is truly grateful to have spent that hour with the light that is each and every one of you. Until we meet again next week, namaste.